ago, we brought you a detailed first drive of the new Tata Punch. And as I said in that video, I really liked it a lot. But we saved some of the good stuff for later, like that last morsel of food or that last gulab jamun. Yeah, I'm getting carried away. Okay, anyways, what we didn't tell you is how the AMT version drove. So let's tell you that now. So let's do a quick recap of the spec sheet before we actually get into how this drives. And this of course is the same 1.2 liter engine that you get on the manual. The Punch is only available with a petrol engine option. There is no diesel on hand. The manual is a 5-speed gearbox. This AMT is also a 5-speed unit. And essentially it's the same gearbox underneath with the electronic wizardry on top, which actually shifts the gears for you instead of you physically doing it with your left hand and using that left foot on the clutch. So obviously this is a lot more easier to drive. That's common sense considering that it is an AMT gearbox. But is it better to drive with this car? And does the AMT gearbox suit the Punch a lot better than the manual does? Now, as I have already mentioned in the longer, more detailed review, the package in the Punch, the engine and gearbox package, isn't really an enthusiast-driven one. It's great for sort of running around the city, or it's great if you want to sit on the expressway in the fast lane at 100 kilometers per hour, cruising peacefully down the road. If you expect to push this engine hard, it's not really going to be pleased to do that. And that's why the AMT gearbox actually might make a lot more sense to a lot more people as compared to the manual. Because the AMT gearbox by design isn't really an enthusiast-driven gearbox either. So a non-enthusiastic engine with a non-enthusiastic gearbox in general makes a great combination to give a more relaxed, a more, should I say, laid-back driving experience that the Punch AMT actually does offer. Our SUV engines undergo a lot of stress both in city driving and on tough terrains, particularly during warm-up, in stop-start traffic, and of course while carrying heavy loads. Ordinary car oils may not be enough for your SUV, and that is why we recommend fully synthetic Castrol magnetic SUV for superior protection. What Tata has done to this engine is slightly recalibrate it and given it a couple of hardware changes with a new ram air intake. And what that has done is made the engine slightly more responsive, and it actually drives a little bit better than what it does in the Altros and of course in the Tiago and Tigor. And that better response, that slightly better response, actually makes the AMT gearbox suit it even better than what it was with the Nexon or with the other cars in the past. Now, what the AMT of course brings along to the table are its advantages and disadvantages. Now, the advantage of course being that it's much easier to drive, as I've already mentioned, and the fact that it is quite smooth and quite easy going. So if you don't go full ham on the throttle pedal, if you say hold it at about 30% or so, which is what generally people like to drive at, this is smooth. It goes through the gears nice and calmly, quickly shift up to fifth. In fact, I'm at about 60 kilometers an hour now in fifth gear, holding around 2000 RPM. It's quiet, it's nice, it's peaceful. It's what this car does best. Mash the throttle though, takes a while to shift down. We're now in third, 5000 RPM, just crossing 80 kilometers an hour. But what it does, it actually holds the gear a lot longer, all the way up to about 5500 RPM. So if you do want to sort of drive it harder than what it is more comfortable doing, you could do that. The AMT gearbox does adapt to that. But again, as I mentioned again and again, it's not really comfortable doing it. It doesn't like to be taken by the scruff of its neck, as I would normally say, and manhandle. This is a car that likes to be driven gently, that doesn't like being pushed around, doesn't like you being bossy with it. But if you do still want to, and if you want to make it do that, you can always shift to manual and it will obey all your commands, master. Right, so let's wrap this up and answer that question that you are all here to get answered. Is the AMT gearbox or AMT version of the Tata Punch a better option as compared to the manual? You know what, I've thought long and hard, and almost every single time I'd have the manual over an AMT just because I like driving a little bit more. But you know what, in this, I think this has a different target audience. It isn't, as I've mentioned many times, targeted towards the enthusiast. It's targeted towards the person who just wants a great family car. And for that customer and for that application in particular, for what the Tata Punch is actually designed to do, the AMT is a better option. Now, I believe the AMT isn't going to be available straight at the time of launch, so I suggest that you'd wait that little while and I guess get this as compared to the manual, because it just suits the car a little bit better. Now, that said, and I'm going to repeat this again as I've repeated already in my main review, what this car really needs is an electric motor to make it the perfect city car. The perfect city car. That's it. An EV Tata Punch. Come on, Tata Motors, we know you can do it.